Shocking find, Tirzepatide versus Semaglutide. Is Ozempic better than Mounjaro? Is Wegovy better than Zepbound? I've got the answers for you on today's episode. Hi friends, if we don't know each other, I'm Elizabeth, I'm Countess of Shopping. Super excited to be here with you today. I am a GLP-1 enthusiast, having lost over 90 pounds the last 18 months, the last year and a half of my life of being on a GLP-1 medication. First Mounjaro because of the Mounjaro shortage, now on Zepbound, and because of Zepbound, now on Tirzepatide, the compound of Zepbound. On today's episode, we're gonna go through, I had been tagged so much in my free encouragement group. I've got a ton of resources for you guys today, by the way, for free. Yes, free, Queen and King. You just go down to the description link below here on YouTube and just click that more button right there. You may have to click it twice to get all of these. As always, I demand and require of myself to be factually accurate. So lovingly, feel free to correct me if any of the information is off or wrong, but I do cite my sources down in that more. You just have to click more and more. And there's a ton of links. So you'll see it says cited sources, and you can go check out the sources I'm talking about today. I was tagged repeatedly over and over and over again in this Good Morning America study, or Good Morning America episode that came out that was talking about a new study for popular weight loss drugs and GLP-1 medications that came out from JAMA. And it's JAMA Internal Medicine, which is a huge, again, tell the truth and shame the devil. I am an enthusiast. I am not a healthcare provider. I am not anything medical. This is simply my experience, strength, and hope of having been on a GLP-1 medication. I always like to make that very clear. Touch your own healthcare provider. So when I'm talking about these medical things, I'm a businesswoman. I can run multiple multi-million-dollar companies, but I am not medical, so I'm always going to punch you that way. But what I do want to share with you is how important this study is. If you're weighing the results of, gosh, should I get on Tirzepatide versus Semaglutide? Should I do Ozempic or Mounjaro if you have type 2 diabetes? Ozempic is Semaglutide. Mounjaro is Tirzepatide. Both are FDA approval for type 2 diabetes. They had been being, and they still kind of are, prescribed off-label for people with chronic obesity management. Now, the FDA did approve Wegovy, Semaglutide, which is the same thing as Ozempic, just different FDA approval. And the FDA did approve Zepbound, which is a Tirzepatide, for FDA approval for chronic obesity management like Wegovy. Zepbound is the same thing as Mounjaro, just different FDA approvals. Does that make sense? So if you're like, what are these different words? It's so confusing. It is so confusing. Trust me. I've been there 18 months into this game, sometimes still with the different ones. I'm like, which one is that? So we're going to talk about this study. It is the biggest study to date, from my understanding of being an enthusiast in the GLP-1 community, about the effectiveness of Mounjaro. Again, we're going back to it. It's Tirzepatide versus Semaglutide. So Tirzepatide meaning Mounjaro and Zepbound. And on my countessofshopping.com article, which I'll link down below too, I'm going to break this down. So if you're also a visual learner, I'm going to visually put it in that article as well. But so for the Tirzepatide, Mounjaro and Zepbound, Semaglutide, Ozempic and Wegovy, which one's better? And they did this head-to-head study, which is now published in JAMA Internal Medicine, of individuals taking Mounjaro, and Mounjaro is the same thing as Zepbound and Tirzepatide, were three times as likely to lose 15% or more of total body weight, 2.5 times as likely to experience 10% or more weight loss, and 1.8 times as likely to experience a 5% or more weight loss compared to those taking semaglutide. Semaglutide meaning Ozempic, Wegovy. So Mounjaro, Tirzepatide, Zepbound, clear winner chicken dinner. Whoa, they are the winners. The active ingredient found in Ozempic is semaglutide. The finding was sustained at 12 months. Y'all, this finding, I went down a rabbit hole. You guys know I'm like, where's the money come? Who's funding this study? We're gonna talk about all that. And you're gonna wanna stay till the end because I've got something exciting for you that may rock your weight loss journey. Make sure you stay till the end on that. This finding was sustained at a 12-month follow-up, according to the study, and analyzed 18,000 patients with obesity, both with and without type 2 diabetes. Now, here in the Countess of Shopping community, we have a wide spectrum intentionally by design. I want a very inclusive, very diverse community. So we've got people who are type 2 diabetics, not type 2 diabetics included in our group. And in this study, the study found patients without diabetes lost more weight than patients with diabetes. Now, having a group that has thousands and thousands of amazing cake booty people, only join my group, it's free. If you're fun and nice, if you're not fun and nice, don't join my group. But people who have, I've noticed that, that diabetics are slower to lose weight. And that's why I have my turtle painting behind me. I just made my turtle painting behind me. Turtles win. So you type 2 diabetics, do not get discouraged. Turtles do win. You just keep running your race. Do not compare yourself to anyone else. Do not let this study get you down in any sort of fashion. Use it to fuel your fire, to motivate you along your weight loss journey. We've got lives to change, meaning our own. But when we change our own lives, that permeates to everything else in the ripple effect within our own life. Let's go back over to the study. According to the study's authors, more research is needed to understand why Mounjaro, the active ingredient, Tirzepatide, why Mounjaro was found to be more effective for weight loss. Tirzepatide targets both the GLP-1 and the GIP receptor agonist, while semaglutide mimics only the GLP-1 receptor agonist, the type of hormone in the body that impacts everything from the brain to the muscle to the pancreas to the stomach and to the liver. Both Ozempic and Mounjaro are approved by the FDA to treat type 2 diabetes. But as I had mentioned earlier, other doctors prescribe them off-label. Less so now because of the shortage. With the Mounjaro shortage, do not get in my comments. You type 2 diabetics getting on your high horse, I will delete them. I am advocating for you too, but people have been prescribed off-label. Don't you do it. Don't you type in there, Janice. Don't you tell me these mean comments about type 2 diabetics versus chronic obesity management. They're both diseases, right? And so in a loving, kind support, this is not, we don't go head to head here at Countess Shopping, so don't do it in my comments. With this, the off-label, which is why Zepbound and Wegovy are available because they're FDA approved for chronic obesity management. When these drugs are used off-label, it's usually not covered by insurance and can cost as much as $1,000 or more per month. Now, let's keep going. These drugs typically are once-weekly injections working to help the pancreas increase production of insulin to move sugar from the blood into body tissue. Past clinical studies have shown users of the medications can lose anywhere from 5% to 20% of their body weight on medications over time. Medical specialists point out using medication to lose weight also requires, as I have said, cardio and strength training and changing your diet, right? Like we've got to make permanent lifestyle changes, which is why you're gonna wanna stay till the end because I've got something to help you with those permanent lifestyle changes. And so one of the pieces of this that I found interesting was about side effects, which we're gonna talk about. The study found that there was no difference in the number of adverse gastrointestinal effects between people with and without type 2 diabetes in the study. I found that part fascinating because people typically, in my viewpoint of having been on this now for the last 18 months, people get off these medications for a couple things. One, their insurance stops covering it, which is happening more and more, which is so frustrating. If you're looking to get on a compound, I'll link down below my favorite telehealth provider who prescribes both brand names, meaning Mounjaro, Wegovy, and compounds. Tirzepatide, semaglutide, they do both. People either get off the medications because of insurance, the cost over time, they're like, oh, I can pay for it. And then after like a year, almost a year, they're like, that's, the budget's changed. And then number 3 is side effects from my viewpoint as to why. And so mitigating these side effects, super, super important to set you up for success. If you have not seen my Mounjaro Amazon shopping list or Zepbound Amazon shopping list, same thing, it has on there an easy starter pack for you to help combat the gastrointestinal things, meaning diarrhea, constipation, nausea, vomiting. I've only vomited once. I used to say I had never. In the last 18 months, the last year and a half, I had never vomited because of my shot, but I did vomit like a month or so back, and I know it was because of my, I had just taken my shot. A few hours afterwards, I got incredibly nauseous and then puked, just lightly. But that I think is so rare, and it was cuckoo puff, not normal. Normally, most people have, in my viewpoint, the diarrhea or constipation. I was with a friend who I love to pieces. If she's watching this, love you. We went out to coffee, went out to Starbucks, and we're talking. She had just started semaglutide 2 or 3 weeks ago. And she had been asking me and texting me a ton of questions, and I kept funneling her to countessofshopping.com and here on YouTube, all of my free articles and all of my free videos, over 300 plus videos here. So feel free to binge watch all of them. I love when you guys do. And comment on the old videos. I'm like, oh, it makes me so happy. But she was having really bad constipation. And I said, Bibs, a couple of things. Are you taking Bioptimizers? Magnesium Breakthrough. They've given the Countess of Shopping for a limited time, free 14-day supply. You just pay for shipping. If you're US based, if you're not US based, I'm sorry, they don't, it's just for US residents. But the magnesium, it has 7 types of magnesium, so it helps with that constipation. I've not had any constipation issues while being on this. I take it at night because it helps with sleep. It gives me what I call Disney Princess and the Pea sleep, and muscle recovery. Because I'm lifting, because I'm doing Pilates, because I'm walking miles and miles and miles each week, I need that help with that muscle recovery. This is awesome. Very much helps with constipation, in my humble opinion. Having that, super helpful. The nausea component, I make homemade ginger water. I actually have one, a nugget of ginger. I slice that up, I'll wash it, and I'll slice it up, put it in a glass pitcher, and I'll sip on that throughout the day if I get nauseous. I'm making that, and I'll have it tomorrow. Today's shot day. Tomorrow I'll have it. Because sometimes I've been experiencing a lot of nausea on Zepbound 15 milligrams, the highest dose of Zepbound / Mounjaro. And so that is an easy way. I'm also obsessed with having Element electrolytes. I love their sparkling electrolyte water in the cans, or they have their drink mix tabs or drink mix packets. They've given us 8 free drink mixes with any purchase with them. That helps with the diarrhea or constipation. I found when I got diarrhea, my electrolytes got whacked out because it's gross, not to be gross, but you're flushing things out, right? And so having an electrolyte, very, very helpful. Do I take those every day? No. When I'm sweating excessively with the 100-degree heat right now in Virginia, sometimes I'll have one, sometimes 2, sometimes not. I've also been making my electrolyte ice. I am a nugget ice lover. Like, I'm obsessed with nugget ice. This is on my Amazon shopping list. You can make electrolyte water out of it, not out of the sparkling, but out of their drink mix packs. For the Duke, my 8-year-old son, I have made these for his summer camp. He's sweating like nobody's business out there in the Virginia heat. It's been very helpful. And then, of course, also my daily vitamins that I take are the GemBite. It has in it prebiotics and probiotics. If you want extra separate prebiotics and probiotics to help with those stomach intestinal issues, Bioptimizers has given us the discount code QUEEN. Again, I've linked all of this down below in that, if you just click more, this whole list for you. Now, going over, we're gonna get back to the study, but one of the things I want to set you up for free that I have paid $1,000 for is 2 different weekly meal plans from a dietitian. I have no business creating a meal plan, which is why I outsourced a dietitian. She's not just any dietitian. She's a GLP-1 dietitian. She has her master's degree. I had hired her previously for myself before I had hired out for this, but I wanted to own the licensing rights to these meal plans for Tirzepatide, Wegovy, Mounjaro, Ozempic, Zepbound, Partridge in a Pear Tree, whatever your GLP-1 you're on. It's a weekly meal plan for free, the shopping list for free, and these high protein recipes in there as well for free. There's 2 different ones. Those are both linked down in the description link below to help you with, like, I don't know what to eat. I have found that people who have really, going back to my friend, she was having severe constipation. I'm like going through like, hey, she wasn't on Bioptimizer's magnesium for constipation. I'm like, and not to be gross, but she was taking a ton of, what are they called? Suppositories. So I asked her about the magnesium component because that worked well for me, right? Not a medical person, talk to your own healthcare provider, simply my experience, strength, and hope of what's worked and what's not worked. Bioptimizers, magnesium. And then 2, I'm like, babes, have you had leafy green vegetables? Like, let's talk about your vegetable and fruit. Big difference for me. When I am intentional with having 2 cups of leafy green vegetables or fruit or other veggies, if you don't like leafy green vegetables, maybe broccoli or green beans or whatever. She's like, no. I'm like, if you're just having protein, like this is why this meal plan is awesome because it incorporates in there fruits and vegetables. And so that's one of my encouragements for you. If you're having massive constipation and you're just having only protein, look into having like fruits and vegetables to help. That for me has made a big difference as well. So check yourself before you wreck yourself on the potty. Okay, let's go over to the study. I want to go over to the link on that. I found this part was fascinating. So I wanted to go see who is funding this that got released into JAMA Internal Medicine, which is like a huge, for medical people, a huge place. That's the place to be. It has in here who is the corresponding author was Dr. Nicholas Stuckey. So then I started looking through and I'm like, who's paying for these? So it has in here obtained funding was Stuckey, Dr. Stuckey. So then I was like, okay, who's Dr. Stuckey? So then Dr. Stuckey has worked with or works at Truveta Inc. in Wisconsin. It's WA. Is that Wisconsin? That's not Wisconsin. What state is that? WA, whatever state that is in the United States. Truveta Inc. So then I went over to Truveta Inc. and I was like, okay, who is funding Truveta Inc.? Like I'm trying to go back to see who's funding these studies, right? Because I think that's important to know where's the money come from these studies. So Truveta actually is fascinating to me. It's saving lives with data. It's regulatory grade EHR data enabling scientifically rigorous research. So, and it is rigorous. That study that they just did, that was on Good Morning America and all these news sources, and it really is a comprehensive, I mean, 18,000 plus patients in it and tracking them. One of the cool things I thought that they had mentioned in the JAMA internal medicine component on the study was they waited 60 days before starting it. Why did they intentionally wait 60 days? Because they knew that people needed time to get their insurance for appeals, for approvals or denials, and to give time to appeal that. I thought that was really smart, which showed me they knew their stuff because we talk about insurance coverage here all the time. You can see all my videos on that. And then two, the other cool part about that as well, in addition to the study part, was this is where I was like, squirrel. I just lost my train of thought. Let's keep going. I'll come back to, there was a point to that. I got distracted thinking about Truveta. The other part of this that I thought was interesting was all on their website, all of these hospitals that use it, like Advent Health, Inova, here in Virginia and Northern Virginia. Inova is huge. There's also huge in Virginia, Novant Health. But there's a ton, Unity Point Health, like there's all these things. So it's a lot of like medical set, like hospitals that are included, Trinity Health, Advocate Health. So there's a ton, so it's linking this data with those two that says Truveta is growing collective of 30 health systems with a shared mission of saving lives with data. So I didn't quite figure out who's funding Truveta, but it's interesting the company behind it, and we need to ask these, in today's day and age, we need to be asking these questions. So I asked the question, I feel very comfortable with the answer with what I found, linking that to that these hospitals are also using this data too. I mean, this is a big deal. Looking through this, I'm like, this is a really, really big deal. We were talking about, it was here near at the bottom of the study that I'm kicking myself. I forgot the point. If I remember, I'll link it into my free encouragement group. If you're not a member of that group, make sure you do. It's down in the description link below as well. But it's talking in here, the biggest thing I also thought that was interesting was the difference between type 2 diabetics and not. There's now conclusive research on that. If you're a type 2 diabetic and you're seeing online people losing these huge amount of weight and you're getting frustrated, like, why am I not losing that weight? Well, if you're a type 2 diabetic, knowing that that's just part of your race, that's part of your, could be, not for everybody, but for some people it could be, and not to compare, because comparison is the thief of joy. Truly, 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 you may be seeing people banking these huge weight loss numbers, they may not be type 2 diabetic, right? And so we got to run our own race. We got to stay in our own lane. Turtles win. Turtles win. Turtles unite. Turtles win. And so I think, that was what I was going to say, is the part that I had forgotten, the squirrel part. Let me go back to it. The study was started in May 2022, right as Tirzepatide, the month of Tirzepatide approval or later, in May of 2022. But allowing that, I thought that was cool that they allowed the study for patients, they needed 60 days, so people in the study could work with their insurance to try to get approvals on it. Really smart. Really, really, I mean, that to me, like, this is, they did a deep dive. Now, if you want to read this full study, I will link that down in the description link below on JAMA Internal Medicine. If you want to read the Good Morning America article, that was my other source on here. I was on Good Morning America. And so I love promoting their stuff. You can have me back, Good Morning America. I would love to come back. And same thing with Oprah. Oprah would love to come back on your show, or any other news broadcast. So it's interesting to me about these past studies, you can lose between 5 and 20% of their body weight with the medications over time. And it's interesting to me that it's talking about making those permanent lifestyle changes. So permanent lifestyle changes, working on your physical activity. For me, it started with walking because that was the easiest way to do it. If you don't know where to start, just walk around the block. Like literally don't pole vault over a mouse turd. It does not need to be that complicated. Just put your sneakers on and go walk for 20 minutes. And if it's too hot in the summertime, get a walking pad on my Amazon shopping list down below. Get the free meal plan. That's the second part, is lifestyle changes is food. If you don't know what to eat or you're bored with what you're eating, it's got a shopping list and it's got the weekly meal plan, 2 of them, and all of these protein-based recipes. They're really, really easy. And you can see in one of my other What I Eat in a Day videos of things to eat or new ideas or stuff to try. I'm always trying new foods because I get bored with the same food over and over. So I like to test and try different things too. Sweet friends, our question of the day is, what are you doing today to move you closer to your goals? Tell me down in the comments below. And then number 2, our emoji for today is going to be a lion. If you've made it this far in the video, I want to get to know you better because I truly do care. So today's emoji is going to be a lion. And that will signal to me, it's like our bat signal that you made it this far. I want to get to know you. If you've made it this far, you must like the content. And so therefore, I really do want to get to know you. And it's an easy way with thousands of people in the community for me to know you. I'll see your handle name over and over and over in the videos. And then 2, I'll pray over you. If you don't believe in prayer, no worries. I'll uplift you in positive thought because this is an inclusive community. Sweet friends, be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. I'm Countess of Shopping. Count my blessings because life is delicious. Love y'all. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Bye, guys. Bye, friends.